Hello and welcome. Today's project is all about NoFap, the benefits of NoFap, the harmful effects of fapping, and my 2-year journey, what it's like to go 2 years on NoFap. Now, before my whole journey with NoFap, what was happening was I was doing it every day. It just became this habitual routine of mine just to feel good, to escape reality. And what happens when you fap every day and watch porn is that it becomes your new normal, right? And you don't know a life without it. And so once I started this NoFap journey, what happens was I started to see a different perspective. I was looking at fapping and porn from a whole different perspective. I was obtaining the benefits because when you take when you like watch people and listen to people take these cold showers and you're not taking them, you're just gonna be like, yeah, I don't want to be like them and I don't want to take cold showers. It sounds painful. You give yourself a million excuses not to do it. But once you step into the cold shower for the first time and then you feel the benefits after, and you do it for a week and you feel the benefits, what happens is your perspective totally shifted. Your old pattern broke. And then you're now more likely to go back to it because of the benefits from that cold shower. So it was like the same thing with NoFap. Once I stopped for like a week, what happened was I started to feel the benefits, and that I was like, oh my god, how can I ever go back to fapping now that I'm learning from these people, these YouTubers who are doing NoFap, and how can I go back when I feel different, when my mood is more stable, when I'm more conscious and more grounded and I'm less sensitive to sexual cues, things like that. So once I started, I couldn't go back, but I did relapse a lot. I just kept relapsing a lot going down the road. But the thing was, once you start going down the road, you'll relapse, but you're going to continue going down the road because of those amazing benefits. And I wanted to not become and be a slave to my emotions. Like I was always, however I felt, I was just so reactive towards it. Like I would go watch pornography, but like Peter Pan, you know, I was escaping reality. But as soon as you fap, you're back into reality. You're back into real life once you're done, right? And that's the thing with Peter Pan is that he's the king of the Lost Boys. He's king of the losers. But Pan means everything, right? And what that really means is when you're young, you think everything is possible. You have a huge imagination. You think you can be anybody you want to be. Life is magic. Life is full of wonder. But then you grow up and then you come to the realization that oh my god, life is suffering, that I'm mortal, right? We're all going to die and things like that. And you can choose to take on the responsibility of life, or you can stay on Pleasure Island like Peter Pan. And so Pan, which means everything, right? King of the Lost Boys, he has a fairy, but the fairy is in his imagination. So you can view Tinkerbell as the fairy of porn because she's wearing a provocative green dress, her hair is all done up, but she's a figment of his imagination. It's a construct he's created of like the ideal. Like she can grant me any wish I want, just like porn. You go on a porn website, porn grants you any wish you want. Any desire is yours. Porn is like this. Come, anything you want. I can wave my wand and boom, you can have any fantasy you want. But then there's Wendy. She's real. She wants a family. Wendy's not a figment. She's a real woman who wants to grow up and have a family. And so what does Peter Pan do? Well, just stays on Pleasure Island, right? And so and that's the thing, we want to connect. We're human beings. We're very social creatures. We want to connect. I want to connect with other people, and I was missing that connection when I was watching porn. And what happened was, once I stopped, what happens was, I was more social, and I was gravitated more towards conversations with people, right? Because I didn't want to be stuck in this fantasy anymore, because we have to break away with that fantasy, and our childhood has to break away, right? We have to get out of that fantasy. And Peter Pan was stuck in that fantasy, right? And so I first discovered a NoFap from the YouTubers on YouTube, where they were talking about the benefits, and it immediately, like, something inside of me clicked, right? Because I felt like all those years I was fapping, there was like guilt and shame attached to the after doing it, right? There's that guilt, the shame, and I always felt like it was wrong, even from the beginning, right? I felt it was wrong, but I just became a slave to this addiction, this habit. And then the YouTubers, what happened, they opened my eyes. This NoFap trend opened my eyes to, oh my God, this is something I can really work on. This is something I can challenge myself with, because I just know, like, the voice inside me is always screaming out, and I just ignore it, right? It's like, this is not good. Don't do this. I don't feel good after I do it. I'm not listening to myself, but I'm not conscious, right? Like Peter Pan, he's unconscious. He's just on Pleasure Island. I was unconscious. I wasn't awakened, and I wasn't really in tune and connected to my body. And so once I began this NoFap journey, I understood the hangover period, and I read about this hangover period in Marnia Robinson's book, Cupid's Poisoned Arrow, a really powerful book, and I highly recommend getting the book. And what she talks about is the hangover period post-orgasm, right? So it was the symptoms and the feelings include irritability, restlessness, some anger, hostility, also the weakening of emotional bonds. So my bonds with my relationships and the people around me were weakened. Also, hypersensitivity to sexual cues. Like, I would be out in public, and there could be an advertisement or a pretty girl or some scene in a movie that would trigger my urge to go watch pornography, right? And so that was heightened. And so all of these, and also a sense of lackness, like there's something missing from my life. And so once I got those feelings and symptoms, when I stopped, it made me want to go back, right? It was like I was met with that resistance and go back to fulfill my urge by watching porn, by fapping. And so, but that's the thing. This hangover period always occurs when you fap, right? That's why like all of these years, I felt all of these symptoms all the time, the social anxiety included. And once I stopped fapping, all of these sensations and these feelings were heightened, right? These symptoms of the hangover period were heightened. But once I got past 2 weeks, because it only lasts for 2 weeks, then after the 2 weeks, you feel the benefits of NoFap. Suddenly your mood starts to stabilize. Suddenly you're able to talk to the beautiful person behind the Starbucks counter, right? All of a sudden you're able to your moods are just stable, and the restlessness and the fatigue, and all suddenly you have more energy, and then you're able to use that energy to engage in something that really is more meaningful to you. Maybe a conversation, maybe the gym, maybe meditation, maybe just that it's like your consciousness is suddenly more awakened and heightened, right? You're not so foggy in the mind anymore. You're more awake and alert, and your sleeps are more deeper, and you wake up feeling more refreshed as well. So all of these benefits suddenly hit me after 2 weeks, and I was like, well, I have to push myself. I have to work and move past this addiction, because after 2 weeks I would then relapse. After another week I would relapse. So I had to keep stumbling myself forward and keep on going so that I can get to a month, and I had to keep setting the bar a little higher. Okay, a month and a half, 2 months, and things like that. So this addiction was really really filling up this void within me, because I was always feeling this lacking, this I wasn't connected, right? This lack of connection, right? And so dopamine is that craving neurochemical. That's why once you stop watching porn and when you go on NoFap, the dopamine is like, well, where is this stuff? I'm craving it, because now your sensitivity to dopamine is lowered every time you watch porn, and so that sensitivity has to normalize itself and get back to its homeostasis state, right? And so going on NoFap was this discovery that oh my God, porn and fapping was adding nothing positive to my existence. It was only causing a host of problems. It was and I found, like, now that I've been on 2 years, I don't even think about it anymore. Because the longer you go on NoFap, the less you think about it. And I remember I was talking to Maggie a couple days ago, and I was like, Maggie, it's been 2 years on NoFap. I didn't even realize that, because now in my beliefs, I view porn and fapping as something that I just don't even do. It's like smoking to me. It's like, I'm not a smoker. It's not part of my identity anymore. It's like when you quit alcohol and people come to that conscious awakening after they realize how harmful their addiction has been. Years later, they're like, I'm not a drinker. It's not part of my identity anymore. And now that I'm on 2 years, I really want to talk about what it's like now being on NoFap. Well, my confidence and my social skills have improved immensely. And that's the thing, right? When you're met with a beautiful person, when you have a crush on somebody, and you meet them, or you just meet them for the first time, you're just at a cash register, you're buying something, and the person behind the cash register is attractive to you, and you feel those feelings, that beauty that they emanate acts like a judge. Because that's what beauty does. Beauty acts like a judge. That's why people from around the world go and view these hundreds of millions of dollar paintings, right? Because when people look at the paintings, beauty, it brings out the idea you could be more than you are, right? That's what happens when you're met with someone beautiful, right? It's like, I can be more than, all your insecurities bubble up to the surface, right? So when I was going on NoFap, what happened was I became more confident, and also the neurological changes, the biological changes started to regulate itself. So I felt like my mood was more stable, but also I was more proud of myself for going 2 weeks, going a month, going 3 months, then going a year. I felt proud, and I felt I had more confidence because I was accomplishing something that was beyond me, right? And so when I was met with this beauty out in public, say like a beautiful woman behind the cash register, I was more engaging because porn objectifies people, right? And that's what, like I was saying earlier, you wave your wand to your most deepest, darkest fantasies, and you can have it all on the internet. But in public, here, the thing is that it's real life, and it, you're going beyond you broke away from that connection, that bondage that you were a slave to. Right? You were a slave. You were getting pulled by this bad habit, right? And so now that I was in public, I was able to speak to the woman behind the cash register because I was more, I had a lot more self-respect because I was able to do something that was beyond me. And so I like right now, I feel like my social anxiety has gone to an amazing place in my life. I've been, and it happened even going back to going 5 months on NoFap. I've my social anxiety just improved immensely. I was able to because I would when you watch pornography, you're objectifying women, and when you go and face a real woman, a real man in real life, what happens is you're going to be faced with their flaws. Because if you want to get into a relationship, you're going to see the ugly side of that person, right? And what porn does is it's like this, it's like the most pleasurable thing to you, but you're not seeing an ugly side to porn. You're just seeing the stimulus, the thing that really gets you off. But in real life, if you want a real relationship, you're gonna have to see the different sides of your partner, and they're gonna see the ugly sides of them when they're waking up in the morning, and when they have bad breath, or whatever it is, you're gonna see those sides. And so porn, like quitting that addiction, allows you to come back into reality, into real life. Now, thank you so much for being here with me. And I want to hear your story. If you're doing NoFap, if this is something that you're struggling with, reach out to me, because a lot of people on my channel reach out because of NoFap. It seems to be like this latest trend. It's the latest thing going around, and I see nothing but benefits from it. I see nothing but benefits from the people that come and talk to me about it, from the books that I read, from the other YouTubers that talk about it. It's just, it's something that needs to be told more, and it needs to be spread across the internet. This is really important, and it really changed my life forever. I can't even tell you, and I hope that this video has projected how much it has changed and made me into a totally different person. And remember, do not let anxiety define who you are. I will see you on the next video. Bye for now. Remember to hit that subscribe button and that bell so that whenever a new video of mine appears, you will be the first to know. Namaste.